let's talk about one of the most incredible pieces of engineering on the planet. And guess what? You own two of them. It's your hand. We use it for literally everything, from the most powerful actions to the most delicate touches, and we barely even think about it. So today, we're going to dive into this absolute marvel of anatomy.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? How can one single tool be so contradictory? It can be a hammer, delivering brute force, and then, a split second later, it can be like a pair of tweezers, with all the fine-tuned precision in the world. How is that even possible?
Well, it really boils down to two totally different jobs. You've got the power grip. Think holding a baseball bat. You're using your whole hand, wrapping everything around it for maximum force. Then you've got the precision grip, picking up a tiny pin. That's all fingertips, all about delicate, controlled movements. The magic is in the anatomy that lets us switch between these two on a dime, and that's what we're going to unpack.
All right, first up, let's uncover some of your hand's hidden superpowers. We're going to peel back the layers and see what makes it all tick.
And everything, I mean everything, starts with the foundation, the scaffolding. We're talking about the bones, a framework that's way more complex and adaptable than you might think.
27. Just think about that number for a second. That's how many bones are packed into each of your hands and wrists. Now, that's not just for show. Having all those little individual parts is the secret sauce behind the hand's incredible flexibility and range of motion. And those 27 bones are organized into three key groups. First, you've got the 8 carpals down at the wrist, which create this really stable but still flexible base. Then, the 5 metacarpals fan out to form your palm, giving it that broad shape. And of course, you've got the 14 phalanges. Those are the bones that make up your fingers and your all-important thumb.
Now here's where the design gets really, really clever. Your palm isn't flat. The bones are arranged in curves, what we call the palmar arches. This design is what lets your hand instantly change its shape. It can go flat to push something, or it can cut perfectly around a ball. It's like having a dynamic scaffold that just adapts to whatever you need to grab.
Okay, so we've got the frame. Now let's talk about the engines that make it all move, the muscles. This is where that whole power and precision thing really comes to life.
You can think of it like two different teams. The extrinsic muscles are the heavy lifters. They're actually located up in your forearm, and they connect down into your hand with long tendons. They provide all that raw power for a strong grip. But the real artists, those are the intrinsic muscles. They live inside the hand itself, and they're responsible for all the fine, delicate, skillful movements.
And these little muscles in the hand are super specialized. You've got the Thenar muscles right at the base of your thumb. Go ahead, touch your thumb to your pinky finger. Yep, that's them working. They're what make your thumb opposable. The Hypothenar muscles do a similar job for your pinky. And then you have the Interossei and Lumbricals, which let you do things like spread your fingers or make those tiny little adjustments. So how does it all work together to, just move a finger? It's this beautiful, lightning-fast chain reaction. Your brain sends a signal, a muscle, either in your forearm or hand, tightens up. That muscle pulls on a tendon, which acts just like a rope on a pulley, and that pull pivots the bone. And boom, your finger moves. Simple, incredibly efficient, and happening thousands of times a day without you even noticing.
So we've got the frame and the engine, but what about the control system, the intelligence? For that, we need to look at the nerve command center, which is guiding every single move and sending a flood of information back to the brain.
And this is a really crucial point. Your hand isn't just a passive tool like a hammer. It's an active, high-fidelity sensory organ. It's constantly gathering data, texture, temperature, pressure, shape, and streaming it back to your brain in real time.
All this communication runs along 3 main data cables, or nerves. You've got the median nerve, which handles the thumb, index, and middle finger. It's the star player for fine touch. Then the ulnar nerve takes care of the pinky and ring finger, which are super important for a strong grip. And finally, the radial nerve is in charge of lifting your wrist and fingers up. It's this beautifully divided system where everyone knows their job.
And just look at this. This chart shows you exactly why your fingertips are so sensitive. The density of nerve endings is just off the charts compared to your palm and especially your forearm. It's why you can feel the tiniest little scratch on a surface. Your fingertips are absolutely packed with sensors.
Now you've probably heard of the carpal tunnel, right? Well, it's a real place. It's this very narrow passageway in your wrist, and crammed into that tiny space are 9 tendons and that super important median nerve. Because it's so crowded, it's easy to see why repetitive stress can cause that nerve to get squeezed, leading to problems. So let's pull all these threads together. What does your palm really reveal? It reveals an absolute masterpiece of different systems all working together in perfect, seamless harmony.
Just think about something as simple as picking up a pen. Every single system we've talked about is in on the act. The bones of your palm form that arch to cradle the pen. Your tiny intrinsic muscles apply just the right amount of pressure, not too hard, not too soft. Your nerves are firing off the commands and instantly reporting back on how the pen feels, all while the tendons are transferring force from the muscles. It's a symphony of anatomy, happening in an instant.
The philosopher Immanuel Kant had this amazing quote. He said, "The hand is the visible part of the brain." And when you stop and think about it, that's so profoundly true. Every single thing you do with your hand, every creation, every gesture, is a physical expression of a thought.
And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. The evolution of our incredible brain didn't happen in a vacuum. It was locked in a feedback loop with the evolution of our hands. A more dexterous hand meant better tools, which pushed the brain to develop, which in turn led to even finer hand control. You could argue that this relationship is what made us who we are.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. For thousands of years, our hands have been shaping the world around us. They built everything from stone tools to skyscrapers and smartphones. But now, as we spend our days swiping on screens and typing on keyboards, how is the world we've built starting to reshape our hands? Something to think about.